Anthony Davis introduced as a Laker over the weekend. Expectations are sky high in L.A., where GM Rob Pelinka said anything less than a championship would not be a success. Our Rachel Nichols sat down with the Brow to talk about his expectations in year one.
Yeah, you come here and said already, I'm here to win titles. Rob Pelinka told the media anything less than a championship is not a success. Are you guys worried you're setting the bar a little bit too high here?
No, we have a standard that is it, especially for me as a player. If I don't win a championship, then, the season was not a success. At
your introductory press conference, they introduced you as someone who they hope will be a pillar of the Lakers for a decade to come.
Yeah.
You're only signed through this season.
Yeah.
Do you think you will be a pillar of the Lakers for years and years to come?
Honestly, Rachel, I'm just focused on this season. I don't know what's going to happen. I have 1 year here, so I'm going to make the best of this year. And when that time comes around in the summer or whenever the season's over, hopefully around mid-June, after we just had this parade, and I need a couple of days to think. Then we can, talk about that, with management and front office and ownership. And but until then, I'm trying to do whatever I can to help this team win this year.
So in that conversation, you just heard it right there, he referred to, I got 1 year here. Now, Anthony Davis is one of the great one-and-dones in the history of college basketball. If he's a one-and-done with the Lakers, then the Lakers will have made one of the worst deals of all time. They mortgaged the entirety of their future, essentially, to bring him there. What did you make of him talking about this in a 1 year time frame?
It'd be indirectly like what happened with the Boston Celtics as they had Kyrie Irving and he walks away and they get nothing in return. What I want fans and media to understand is today's player is a lot more savvy and understand that being an entrepreneur is just as important as being a champion. So therefore, I don't have to commit publicly. It does me no good. It doesn't change my money. People now look at players not committing different. They look at load management different. People look at great players changing teams not as taboo. So if you're Anthony Davis, in your head, he wants to be a Los Angeles Laker for a really long time. You saw how giddy he was, Greeny. He's already talking about the parade. He's already talking about how happy he is to be there. But it does him no good to commit long-term vocally. It's just a matter of going out and actually playing basketball.
I mean, does it make a huge, he could easily have answered her question by saying, yes, it is my expectation that I'll be here for a long time and we're going to win a lot of championships and all that sort of thing. And then if it goes badly, I guess are we going to agree? Maybe it doesn't make any difference at what he says at this point, because anyone can say anything they want. They'll have me, and then he couldn't get out of town fast enough. Maybe it doesn't make any difference what Anthony Davis says in July.
Absolutely. With a 24-hour media cycle, social media, and us dissecting every word, it does the player no justice to commit long-term because anything can happen. Kyrie Irving did commit in the offseason. Then once the season started, he was unhappy in Boston. Unhappy with Brad Stevens, unhappy with Danny Ainge, unhappy with the young players. This won't happen with Anthony Davis because he chose to be in L.A., unlike Kyrie didn't choose to be in Boston, but there's no reason for him to commit in the media.
But when you look at all the relationships that are involved here, okay, and we understand there's LeBron, there's the agent, Rich Paul, who was invested, obviously, in both of them and with both of them, and Davis coming to the Lakers and all they gave up. Do you think there's any real chance, no matter how badly things go this first year, that Davis only plays one season with the Lakers?
No real chance that Anthony Davis leaves the Lakers. No real chance Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are going to lead the Clippers. We're going to talk about them as well. It's all the exact same conversation. Today's player has enough savvy to know that when I played in the league, fans and media used to care about that commitment and that investment. They wanted you to be a part of their community, to be a pillar of it. Now, fans are just root for players. So they don't necessarily need that commitment, and players know it.
Yeah, I think that's right. That's one of the changes that have been made in the NBA that I thought was a terrible thing for the sport. I thought it would hurt the sport. And in reality, I think it's helped the sport. I think fans create new interest and things like rivalries and all that we used to care about go out the window. Now they're just looking for the star power, and we've got it in 2 places in LA.
And players know how to keep the suspense going. That's what likes and follows and social media is all about.
Right.
You have no need to follow me or hang on every word if I give you all of the information right now.
Listen, I've been doing these teases on the air for 20 years, and it tends to
you're
work.
The best at teasing.
Anthony Davis just did that. Basically, he said, will I stay here for the Lakers? Watch this year, and you'll find out. Meanwhile, let's get up and go. Ben Simmons has a new deal. Jalen, it's official. 5 years, 170, the max with the Sixers. Will the Sixers regret giving him this deal?
Not at all. I'm happy for Ben Simmons because as a guy that's going to flirt with triple doubles on a nightly basis, he definitely deserves the opportunity to get paid top dollar. Now, like any individual at any craft, he continues to have to work on it. In particular, his jump shot outside of the paint.
Get up and go to Golden State, where general manager Bob Myers told reporters the team intends on keeping D'Angelo Russell, despite all the speculation that he could be flipped. Do you expect them?
Perfect example. What should the GM say?
Right.
What should he say? Right. I want this dude for 25 games, and we're going to flip him for a big because we got a hole in the middle. Do you expect him to say that if they just gave him $100 million?
No, but that is what they're going to do, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
D'Angelo Russell, he's not going to buy, I bet you that. He's going to be renting and leasing because he know what we know.
Fair enough. Next, as we get up and go to the final game of the Summer League, and 21st overall pick Brandon Clark was named the MVP. 15 points, 16 boards. Memphis wins. John Morant didn't play, by the way, in Summer League, but he did enjoy the celebration. You'll see that here. What'd you make of all that?
I love to put things on wax early. In Memphis, be happy. You got Clark, you got Morant doing his best dance, and you got Jaren Jackson Jr. for your future.
He stole that move from me. All right, we'll take a quick break. Still to come, LeBron and Anthony Davis make the Lakers fascinating, but are they the team to beat? Charles Barkley answers that question and more in 10 minutes. And we know Carson Wentz is a star, but can he stay on the field? That's the question the Eagles and their fans want answered. More NFL burning questions as we roll on.
Eagles fly.
All the way to victory.
During the duration of his career. We understand that and we get that, but you have to do that within reason if you want to field a competitive football team where, by that I mean, when your good players come up, you can try and re-sign some of these guys and keep your core intact. I don't know if they can go ahead and afford to have him be the highest paid, or rather one of the highest paid at his position, have Amari be the highest paid at his position, Ezekiel be the highest paid at his position, when you also have Byron Jones, who plays a critical position at corner, coming up for a contract extension as well in 2020. Jalen Smith coming up for a contract extension as well in 2020. Those guys are important. All of those guys need to be able to, again, take care of themselves and maximize cash to the player, but it's also, the responsibility of the team to minimize risk, manage the salary cap effectively, and constantly be able to keep an eye on the long term so they can remain competitive. Look, but trust me, I get it. In this day and age, especially with all these football players, watching basketball salaries just go through the roof, and it seems as though, hey, as long as you got 1 or 2 superstars in the NBA, you're good to go, and you can just fill it in with a bunch of guys off the street as far as the rest of the roster is concerned. Maybe that mentality is starting to creep into some NFL players' minds, but we all know it doesn't work that way in the NFL, and you're going to have an eye a little bit towards what the rest of the roster is going to look like if you wind up eating up too much of the salary cap pie. And hey, if it's still good for you and you don't mind losing football games because the rest of your roster is weak, then more power to you. But look, I get what he's saying, but it's not going to go down that way.
Well done. Louis, such a pleasure. Thank you so much, my man, as always, and we'll see you again soon. We'll bring it to Bobby here because it does feel as though here's a Cowboys team that we all know hasn't even been to the NFC Championship game in what feels like forever, But now it almost feels like their window is closing, right? They've got to get it done, and they've got to get it done immediately. Let's talk about Dak and Zeke and how important the running back is to this quarterback.
When you talked about that salary cap pie, because of the things that he does, and Dak knows that, he understands that one of the best things Dak Prescott does is we're going to see here, he throws the ball really well with a play action pass. 30% better play action with Zeke on the field without. We see Zeke in the I formation sitting back here. We're going to see the Giants safety who's coming into the box, the two linebackers. It's 1st and 10. It is a running situation, critical time of the game just to start. You see them come down, the play action pulls in the box safety, the two linebackers, opening up a void, creating a pocket for Dak to sit in. You see him go down the field. The free safety even bit on it, and that's Tavon Austin going over the top. That's not Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
That's Tavon Austin being able to get weak. Now we're going to see him in a similar situation. Alfred Morris back here, 2nd and 6. The 3 Giants linebackers running down. As you watch it and sit here, the play action comes again. Look at the linebackers. No bite on the run fake. That's going to make it harder for the offensive line. It's harder for the receivers to get open. Dak looks down the field, nowhere to go with the ball. The pressure gets there, and then you ultimately have a sack. Dak Prescott, 30% better in play action passing than when Zeke Elliott is on the field than when he is not. He understands it. It's one of the things he does the very best.
I totally get that. That does not necessarily answer the question, should they pay Zeke Elliott long-term right now, right? Those are two separate things. We all understand how important he is. No one is questioning that, including Dak Prescott. But if you're going to just pay one of those two guys, or let's even throw Cooper in there, which ones are you prioritizing?
I'm not a big proponent of paying running backs, and I think this is why, and Zeke understands that. That's why he's holding out now, because Dak needs him at this stage in his career to still be able to have that type of success for their offense. If he chooses to wait till next year, he may be in the same situation that Melvin Gordon is. You talked about the window. Zeke sees it closing. It's time for me to try to get my money and not wait till another year till they'll have me pressed and they can use the option and potentially 2 more franchise tags.
Who knows what winds up happening with Melvin Gordon this year? He's looking for a new